As the story begins, we see the collections of various mysterious and religious statues in the remote places that were destroyed by the small girl holding a plushie and having a fierce look in her eyes. We then see a university entrance ceremony where students are gathered in the hall, and the one who scores the most marks at the entrance has to give a speech. His name was Keitaro Gentoga, who hates the supernatural. His friend tried to take a picture with him, but it got spoiled, as it always happens. Eiko apologized to him, as she shouldn't have forced him to take the picture. He said it's fine, as every one of his pictures turns out to be like this, because spirits are naturally drawn towards him. He explained that back in high school, he got tangled up with a nasty spirit, and then he was afraid to leave his room. Eiko was the one who helped him get out of that trauma and motivated him to live a normal life. She asked him if he had gotten any offers for the tutoring job, and he replied that he did get one. She told him that she got an idea for him to be a tutor from her cousin, which would help him get back to his normal life. She's also happy that they can both go to the same school again. He visited the agency that had offered him the job. He looked a little nervous as his socializing skills had gotten even worse. The employer told him that the girl he'll be tutoring is their most promising student, as her IQ was over 160. Keitaro reached that girl's address, but unexpectedly it turned out to be Eiko's home. She told him that she'd been living with her cousin for the past 1.5 years, and then when she calls her cousin, Keitaro gets chills and asks Eiko what kind of creature she is living with. Her name was Yayoi Hazuki. She looked weird as she had 2 pupils in each eye. She sensed something weird from Keiroto's hand, and he was extremely scared because he could sense creepy souls from her plushie. He asked her to throw her away, but she choked her plushie's neck for him. He realizes that she can also sense spirits just like him, or maybe even more sensitive than him. He tried to act normal and introduced himself to her, but instead she asked him to go somewhere haunted. He said that he was here for tutoring. He refused her, but she called the agency, saying that he was harassing her. He had no option left but to agree. 3 of them left to meet some haunting spirits, and Keitaro was regretting taking up this job. He told Eiko that it's not safe at all to visit haunted places, but she said that Yayoi is always begging her to go out, and it's great that an experienced person like you is coming along. Keitaro expresses that he's already feeling intense chills well before reaching the destination. Yayoi calls him a scaredy cat and speeds up the escalator by pressing Eiko's leg. They reach the haunted phone booth in the city. Eiko told them the story behind it. The booth was haunted by the ghost of a young hostess, as the story says that a popular hostess who had many suitors was assaulted and murdered by her stalkers inside this phone booth. Anyone who dares to enter or even call this phone booth will meet the same horrific fate. Keitaro gets shocked to see Yayoi inside the booth and pulls her out of it. She tells them that she couldn't see any spirit inside, but he thinks that it couldn't be possible as he could sense some strange energy there. Yayoi calls at the phone booth number, but Keitaro snatches the phone from her just when Eiko gets all excited and says she can make the call. Keitaro gets annoyed as no one is listening to him and decides to make a call himself. Surprisingly, a girl answers the call begging for help, and they see some nasty blood marks on the glass of the booth. Yayoi throws her plushie inside it, and 3 of them rush towards the car to leave as they are extremely horrified. The plushie that she threw inside could be seen in horrible condition. When they got back home, Keitaro scolded Yayoi, saying that she shouldn't visit such haunted places and shouldn't be so interested in ghosts. We then saw them studying. She was quite intelligent, so he thought that she couldn't be really stupid. He asks her if she can really see the spirits. She tells him that she can, but spirits seem to avoid her. Back in that phone booth, the spirit didn't come out when she called, but it did come out the second he called. He told her it's because he attracts spirits, which was quite amazing for Yayoi. We see Eiko and Keitaro talking about Yayoi. She tells him that he shouldn't be so harsh with her as she had lost both of her parents in an accident a 1.5 years ago. Yayoi was dreaming about his past, where her mom took her to the hospital because she had 2 pupils in each eye, which enabled her to see the spirit world. Her mother was worried, as nothing was effective for Yayoi to get normal. Her mother told her that they'd go to the amusement park. She was quite happy about it, but when they were returning from the park, they met with an accident in which both of them died, and when Yayoi got out of the coma, she could see both worlds at once. She also remembered that her mother's soul was taken away by an evil spirit, and Yayoi promised herself at her parents' funeral that she'd get her mother back. She woke up from sleep and heard both of them talking about her. The next day, Yayoi and Eiko were again ready to visit that place. Yayoi also gave Keitaro a statue wrapped in Eiko's clothes for his protection. They reached there, and Yayoi told them that she had called that girl several times, but she had blocked her. The evil spirit was already watching them, and it dragged Keitaro inside the booth. That spirit was trying to choke him to death, and a girl was continuously asking for help on the phone. He says that the statue isn't effective at all, but she says that it is working, and then pulls out the weapon from her bag. She opened up the door with its help and took out that statue, spun it over at a very fast pace, and then smashed it. Keitaro finally got free, but the voice was still coming out of that phone, so she cut off the wire She says that it doesn't matter how many spirits he attracts, she'll hunt them all. They were returning to their home, and Kiroto said that he thought he was really going to die there, but he was still getting some bad chills, as Yayoi had captured that spirit and was choking it, and that spirit was screaming in pain. They were all eating cake, and Kiroto says that he really got reminded of why he hates ghosts, but Iko says that you might not have realized it, but you actually like to encounter them. You may seem to hate spirits, but your actions are totally opposite. He gets into a bit of a dilemma after what she said, and tries to change the subject by telling Yayoi that she won't ask him again to visit there. She replies that there is no need for it, as there's nothing left over there now. We then see her room, where the spirit lying inside that phone was attacked by the other spirits captured inside those plushies. Kiroto wonders that even when Yayoi likes to encounter spirits so much, how could she rarely meet them and think it may be the ghosts who avoid her? As it turns out that she likes to meet spirits to hunt them down.